I'm going to be making two really simple recipes today, but both of them will have you shining like a star on Eid. So here we go. The first recipe, soji squares, and the second one, a garlic cream prawn. But first I'm going to start with those soji squares. Very quick recipe. So in goes the semolina into a mixing bowl, 150 ml of flour, sugar, ground almonds, a teaspoon of cardamom, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and melted butter, 150 ml of milk, and that's how simple it is. Just going to use a whisk and stir that around. We're going to whisk this until it's smooth. That looks just about perfect. Smooth and thick. Going to grab a spatula. And now just pop that into the casserole dish. That's been greased and greased again with spray and cook. And here we go. Use the spatula and spread that around, making sure it's even. This is ready for the oven. I'm going to bake this at 180 degrees Celsius for 25 to 30 minutes. Now for the honey syrup for those soji squares, the first thing going into the pot, some cold water. Next in goes some honey. I'm going to bring this up to the boil. I'm going to flavour the syrup with some orange flower water. It smells absolutely amazing. Light, citrusy and so aromatic. It's also quite different. Generous glug going in. Bring this up to the boil and stir. Be very, very careful when you're working with honey, especially with syrup. They leave nasty burns sometimes and they are quite painful. The syrup is ready, and so are the soji squares. Now these are still hot, and the trick to this is pouring the hot syrup over the hot squares. So just drizzle it over and let it soak through. That is really pretty. If these cool down, you can always just tap them in the microwave for a bit and heat them up. Next, garnish with some rose petals. There we have it, the soji squares are done. Now onto the garlic cream prawns. The first ingredient, some fresh garlic, fresh cloves. Use a knife and bang that down, loosen off the peel and pop them into a mortar. I would suggest using about 1 whole head of garlic for about 2 kilograms of prawn, but then I am a garlic fan, so you can adjust it according to you. Make it less garlicky, more herby, it's entirely up to you. Now for the mortar, and some green chili, just roughly chopped going in as well. A good sprinkling of salt. And now, let's just pound this. The more you stamp this, the more garlicky it gets. So you can decide. I like it pretty garlicky. Scraping that down. Smells pretty good. Now for the garlic cream part. Pop the butter into a pan. Just melt that. Next in goes the garlic and chili. Just melting that butter and swirl it around. Take care not to heat up your pan too much. You don't want the butter to brown. And we're just going to fry this on a medium heat until the garlic is fragrant and starting to turn a very, very pale brown. Next, 2 cups of cream going in. This is not for the faint-hearted. This is a dish fit for royalty and definitely for a celebration like Eid. Bring the cream up to the boil and just keep whisking it. The sauce is thickening up beautifully. Now, in go the prawns. Just in a single layer. Moving them around so that they are not on top of each other. Then in goes magic masala. Say about 3 teaspoons to really spice things up. This is a mixture of cinnamon, cumin, cardamom, red chili powder. Stir that through. Now my secret ingredient, Parmesan cheese. It's not only for Italian food, you know. You can have it whenever you like. I added to sauces to thicken it, and I also added to my garlic cream prawn just to give it a lovely cheesy flavor. Prawns take about 60 seconds to cook, not longer, and as you can see, these prawn tails are starting to change color already, and they're also starting to curl. I think large prawns work really well for this. Now, last ingredient, some fresh coriander. You don't need to use only the leaves. The stems and the stalks have lots of flavor as well. In fact, the root has the most flavor. So if you're lucky enough to get some, wash it off and then grind it and pop it into your curries. Fresh coriander going in. Another generous sprinkling of magic masala to garnish. There's enough heat in this pan to continue cooking the prawn. Switch off the heat and we are ready to serve. These garlic prawns are swimming around in this lovely silky sauce, all buttery and slightly spiced. I would serve this with some crusty bread. So that's the soji squares and the garlic cream prawns done.